All right, I think we're going to get started here. Again, thank you everyone for joining our webinar today, Unlocking Additional Revenue Streams in Uncertain Times, together with Taxback International and SAP Concur. Firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Martin Leonard. I'm the EMEA FSI Director for SAP Concur, and I hope that everyone is safe and at home and then juggling the work remote situation we're all in. I'm coming to you today from Prague in the Czech Republic. We also have some guest speakers joining me today. From Taxback International, we have Martina Arnold, the Regional Marketing Director for the UK. And for SAP Concur, we have Christian Nielsen, the Regional Sales Director for Sweden and Finland. In terms of the agenda for today, Taxback International is going to cover some of the hidden opportunities for VAT reclaim. We're going to look at a joint customer case study with Electrolux, a company you may be familiar with. We're going to talk a little bit about how businesses are evolving with the current market situation. On the SAP Concur side, we're going to talk about how you can use data to deliver ROI for your business. And finally, we're going to look at automation and machine learning in your business processes. In these uncertain times, many companies are looking at their costs and how to shift their budget towards where the business needs it to stay resilient. We put this webinar together because we want to help you bring additional revenue streams back into your company, and we hope you enjoy it. In terms of house rules for today, this webinar will be recorded. There will be a Q&A at the end, so please send your messages in the chat box and we will get to all your questions at the end. If not, we will follow up with you individually. At this point now, I'm going to hand over to Martina Arnold from Taxback International. Hi, Martina.
Hi, Martin. Thanks very much. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all well. Today, I'm going to talk about how we help companies to uncover additional revenue from their employee travel spend. We do this via VAT reclaim, and it ultimately just helps companies to add money to their bottom line. So in terms of Taxback International, we're a global VAT service provider, and we help companies to recover VAT from over 180 countries worldwide. Reclaiming VAT is, of course, a very complicated and complex process because countries change the regulations on a very regular basis, and also the rates vary a lot across countries. So where we come in is that we support companies with the VAT reclaim offering that we have by focusing on automation, on security, on compliance, and of course service excellence. We have a local and a global presence worldwide, and since partnering with Concur, SAP Concur since 2009, we've helped clients reclaim millions of GST and VAT around the globe. And we do that by offering very much an end-to-end solution in order to be able to maximize the VAT reclaim. So in terms of where this hidden opportunity is, essentially a natural cost for companies is employee travel. And in that employee travel, there is often VAT charged, some of which can in fact be reclaimed. So when we look at our client base, we have a client base of over 12,000 clients, and on average, what we can see from that is normally about 20% of a company's European travel spend or 4% of their global travel spend is in fact reclaimable. So if we look at the below example here, we can see that just from a normal business trip that somebody would have, which would include a number of different expense types, we can see that there can be, in this example, €340 charge for the trip. If you multiply that by 30 business travelers who each have 3 trips per year, you can see how quickly that number can become a substantial VAT reclaim opportunity. Okay, and a very important aspect of the product offering and service offering that we have is that we focus on every single transaction that an employee will incur while they're traveling. What we find with a lot of companies who are carrying out VAT reclaim themselves is that they're only focusing on the big ticket items, purely from a resource perspective. The team doesn't have time to look at everything. But again, you can see in this example, if a company is only, let's say, looking at the hotels and the car hires and leaving out the VAT reclaim on other things like meals or car parking, per trip, a company can be losing out on approximately €100. So there's a lot left on the table, and that's what we try to help companies to avoid. So how is it a revenue opportunity? There are essentially two different types of VAT reclaim that we offer to companies. In the first instance, you have the foreign VAT recovery. So that is where your employees are traveling to foreign countries and incurring business expenses there. It's important to note that for foreign VAT recovery, this does need to take place annually. So there are a number of deadlines, and these are external deadlines that are in place that unfortunately, if you as a company miss these deadlines, you're not going to be able to recover that VAT going forward. Then on the domestic VAT recovery piece, this relates to employees traveling within their home country and incurring business expenses there. So this tends to be the area in which companies have most of their VAT reclaim potential because, of course, most employees will be traveling within their home country. One very important point to note here is the opportunity that lies with domestic VAT reclaim, and that's because there's an opportunity to retrospectively reclaim VAT as well, and what we call backdated VAT recovery. So in many countries, you can actually go back as far as 2 to up to 6 years to reclaim any unclaimed domestic VAT. So just to spend a little bit of time on the conversations that I tend to have with companies, and you know, a lot of the time when I'm talking to a company, they feel that they are in fact recovering all of the eligible VAT already themselves, but actually when we delve into it and when we start looking at the processes, which are very often manual processes, we see that actually companies can be losing up to 30% of the recovery potential simply because they're not looking at every single transaction and they're only looking at those big ticket items that I mentioned earlier on. Obviously, another argument at the moment is that with the current situation, global travel has either stopped completely or partially. But from the companies that we work with, they're very, very happy of the services we offer because this means that actually right now is exactly the time then that they can look at their past or their backdated travel and see if there's an opportunity there for a revenue stream to come in from that. So just take a second now to look at the technology that we use in order to carry out the VAT reclaim in such an automated way. So essentially our solution consists of 3 key pillars of what we call our VAT Connect platform. And that platform is essentially made up of integrations, intelligence, and analytics. And the partnership that we have in place with SAP Concur makes the data flow into our VAT Connect integrations very, very seamless. It allows us to essentially pull in the data that we need, both in terms of transactional data and images. And from that, then it moves into our VAT Connect intelligence platform. And that platform is essentially a rules engine. It uses machine learning to extract and capture the data and the images that it needs. And then it takes the recovery engine and automatically identifies the full VAT potential from that. The third pillar is then the VAT Connect analytics, and that is essentially the platform or the part of the platform that is for you, the customer. So that allows you to see everything we have done with each and every transaction, so that essentially we've removed all of the work from you for you, but we haven't removed any of the control or the transparency. so you can see exactly what you are going to get refunded for each and every transaction. So in terms of getting started with us, we do offer a free analysis in terms of potential VAT reclaim. And what that allows companies to do really is to benchmark your current process against what we have found in terms of VAT recovery. And ultimately, it allows you then to hopefully meet all upcoming deadlines as well, because we will have been able to identify when that VAT potential is due to be recovered for you. So from our perspective, we would love to obviously start working, with you. We do offer that optimized automated solution, which would allow you as a company to deploy your resources elsewhere. We also, of course, offer that full compliance with the service as well. Last thing I'll finish on is a little case study for the company Electrolux, which is a joint client of ours that we have been working with since 2015. And when we first started speaking to Electrolux, it was very interesting because they were of the opinion that they were carrying out VAT reclaim and that there was nothing more for them really to recover. But when we carried out the free benchmarking analysis for them, what we identified was that Electrolux was in fact only reclaiming 8% of their total VAT potential for T&E spend, something which I'm sure you can imagine shocked them quite a bit. But over the years, we've been working with them since 2015. You can see there that essentially, we have our norm over the last number of years is that we've had a year-on-year increase of around 30 to 40%. But since actually 2015, we have managed to increase Electrolux's VAT recovery tenfold for the company, which is something they're very, very happy with, of course.
Yeah, Martina, I want to build further on that. I mean, what a great experience for Electrolux and for all three companies here, SAP Concur and Taxback International. The amount of savings that we have been able to generate during these 5 years is just amazing. So thank you so much, Martina.
No problem. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone, and glad to see so many people in this webinar. My name is Christian Nilsson, and I'm the sales director for SAP Concur in Sweden and Finland. I will start by telling you about the company SAP Concur. We were founded in Seattle, in the western part of United States in 1993. And since then, we've been the market leader in employee spend management and travel and expense management. And this is for over 25 years. We were acquired by SAP in 2014. And since then, it's been a true success. SAP has invested a lot in our company. And right now, we are almost 10,000 employees. So we have more than doubled in size since SAP acquired the company. We have more than 50,000 clients around the world, and that range from a small business with maybe 10 employees up to the biggest corporations in the world. So it doesn't matter if you're just a small business or if you're a big corporation, we have a solution that is fit for your needs. And we have roughly 70 million users around the world, and we have implemented in more than 150 countries. So this means that if you are based anywhere in the world, in no matter what country you are based in, we have already implemented in that country. We know the VAT rules, we know the tax rules, and so on in all these countries. So you can be sure that we know how to implement in the country where you have employees. And more than 75% of the Fortune 500 companies are today using SAP Concur. So in today's uncertain times, we are a very stable partner for you to rely on and do business with in these uncertain times. In a typical day, our customers use our solutions to book travel, to submit expense reports, and to process invoices. And they do it on all types of devices, no matter where they are. It can be on a PC or on a laptop. It can be on an iPad or a tablet or on a smartphone. So no matter where you are in the world or no matter what device you're using, we are here to help every day. And SAP is a true end-to-end solution for travel and expense management and employee spend. So no matter if it's a travel and hotel booking, or if it's just a new charger for your smartphone that you're buying on behalf of your company, you can make sure that this solution is fit for your needs. And you see a lot of different solutions in this slide here, but they can also be purchased separately and implemented separately. So you can just take it piece by piece and do it easy. But of course, we are a true end-to-end solution that can handle everything the company needs for the employee spend. An example of this service is if I need to travel to a destination for work, for example. It can then start with a request that's sent to my manager to actually travel and actually spend the company's money. Then the request is sent to my manager and hopefully it gets approved. If it gets approved, the tickets are booked within the system and I can then travel. And when I'm away on my travel, the company can make sure that I'm safe and that they also can communicate with me if something happens. And this is, of course, very important in these uncertain times that we are in today when we will hopefully start to travel soon again. And all the expenses, they are captured automatically through integrations with partners or within the mobile app. And when I book when I'm back, the expense report is almost already done. So I can just submit and send it to my manager for approval. And since we gather all information about the company's employee spend in the same place, you can take full control of the spend and generate any report that you would like. And with all spend data in the same place, we enable further actions to be taken with this data automatically. And this, of course, with the help of our partners in our open platform that you see below here in the slide. It's the credit card companies, it's the TMCs, and it is the VAT reclaim companies that we are talking about today. Since we took everything a step further and opened up our platform to partners within this industry, it has enabled a whole new set of services, both for the company, but also for the end user. Let's take the hotel chains and airlines, for example. Then the end user has a totally integrated solution with e-receipts and itineraries flowing directly into Concur from the partner companies. We can eliminate fraud and we can ensure compliance with solutions based on artificial intelligence that automatically captures this and ensures compliance for the company. And as we talk about today, and as Martina already talked about, and the excellent example there with Electrolux, we can ensure a fully automated VAT reclaim service. Because with all the spend data in the same place, in the Concur solution, which that then data is then sent to Taxback International, and our companies can together enable a fully automated VAT recovery solution. But without the spend data in Concur, the VAT recovery would have to be manual and then less recovered VAT for you as a customer. So let's get started with a solution that is easy to implement and that has a fantastic ROI. Thank you. So thank you all. I now hand over to Martin again.
Great. Thanks a lot, Christian, and thanks, Martina, for that presentation. And I think we have a couple questions here for you guys, if you are willing to dive into that. The first one here, this one looks like it's for you, Christian. When considering SAP Concur, do you have to already be an SAP customer? And how fast would you be up and running after acquiring SAP Concur?
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's an excellent question, because it's a very common misunderstanding, since we are named SAP Concur, that you actually have to have the full backend of SAP when implementing Concur, and that is absolutely not the fact. We are a true SaaS solution, which is already up and running everywhere in the world, and it's very easy to implement. What you mainly need to do is to configure the solution based on your needs, and then integrate it with a data coming in, maybe from an HR system in one end, and then to make the payments in the other end. And no matter what HR solution you're using, or what ERP solution you're using, then it's very easy to integrate, and you're up and running in just a few weeks or months, and can get value of it in very fast pace.
Great. We have another question here. This one looks like it's for both parties, actually. How secure is the data exchange between SAP Concur and Taxback International? And could you please expand upon the security offered to customers who enable the integration?
Yeah, so if I start there, I mean, security is a very important topic for us at SAP Concur, and it's been on it's been our focus for more than 25 years. We have very sensitive data that we handle for customers with the high demands, like government institutions and banks and financial institutions around the world. So we have to make sure that the data is secure, and all the integrations with our partners are 100% secure. We are today running our own data centers, also in partnership with Amazon Web Services, that also has security as a top priority. So with the API to Taxback International, you can be sure that it's fully secure, and the data flowing between our two companies is 100% secure.
Yeah, perfect. I'll add to that, Christian, in terms of that API, exactly. So the API that was built to transfer that data between our two organizations, it has been built with absolutely the highest security standards. From the perspective of VAT Connect, our platform, I mean, VAT Connect is fully GDPR compliant. It is ISO 27001 and ISO 9001 certified as well. And then in terms of even Taxback International, you know, Taxback International is regulated to banking standards in 126 countries, and we offer separate client bank accounts as well in each country as well. So companies' data and money is very much secure with us.
Great. Okay, I see a few questions here. I think we only have time for one more. This one looks like it's for you, Martina. Can you provide us with more information on the VAT deadlines you spoke about in your presentation?
Yes, yes, the VAT deadlines relating to the foreign VAT reclaim. So yeah, so I mentioned that earlier, that there are 3 deadlines that come up every year: June, September and December. And these are external deadlines. They're not put in place by ourselves. But essentially, if I just start with the first one and move along, the June 2020 deadline, that essentially refers to, or it applies to non-EU companies who want to reclaim from some EU countries, for example, from Germany. And vice versa. So for some EU companies who want to reclaim from non-EU countries, for example, Switzerland. So in the case then of what's required by June 2020, if a company wants to reclaim 2019 expenses, so any expenses incurred between January to December 2019, the submission has to be made by the 30th of June 2020, or else that amount is lost. That's the June deadline. And we move on to the September deadline. It's a little simpler. The September deadline relates to EU companies who want to reclaim from other EU countries. So EU to EU, essentially. And that deadline again relates to January to December 2019 expenses incurred, and they need to be submitted or reclaimed to the tax offices by September 2020. And then the third deadline relates to December, so the 31st of December. And that basically relates to non-EU companies who want to reclaim from either the UK or Cyprus. And the dates for that are a little different. Essentially, for a non-EU company who wants to reclaim from the UK or Cyprus, the dates are July 2018 to June 2019. That's the time frame. And those July 2018 to June 2019 expenses have to be reclaimed by the 31st of December 2020. So lots of little variances in there, and obviously, you know, we have all of that information in a nice, clear information sheet as well that we can pass on to anybody who's interested in it. But there's certainly dates to be very aware of, because unfortunately, it's just money lost if companies don't actually adhere to those deadlines.
Great, thank you for that. Some important dates for you to keep in mind there.
Absolutely.
We have a couple more questions here. Unfortunately, we run out of time, so we will follow up with you individually on those. I'd like to also let everyone know that there will be a recording of this webinar that you will be receiving shortly. And lastly, I'd like to thank everyone for joining. I hope you enjoyed the content today. Thank you to our speakers today, Martina and Christian, and hope everyone is doing well. Thanks a lot, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.